Hello, family friends. We are back. A lot's changed since the last time we were here. Our family is growing. We welcomed a new grandson in November, and our health is improving.
I'm down 65 pounds.
Frank is down 65 pounds, and I am healing an eating disorder that I've kept hidden for 30 years. So we are both on a journey of health right now and embracing a whole new way of living. We're very excited to bring you along, but first we need to dig out of an awful snowstorm. So come along. Oh goodness, I think I'm stuck. This is where snowshoes work. Hey? There's just so much snow!
Parts of Canada's busiest city, looking more like a ghost town Sunday. Canada's busiest airport, a flurry of activity, plows working throughout the day, but not able to stop the pileup of hundreds of flight delays and cancellations.
Not cold, but it's a mess.
Is it really bad?
It's bad. It's really bad. I don't know if I can do it. Like, there's so much ice up there. There's like, just this edge is ridiculous. Hey everybody, we're so excited to welcome you back. 2024 was a pivotal year for us. We actually took a little step away and decided to concentrate on our faith and our family and our future. And in November of 2024, we actually welcomed another addition to our family, our baby Angel, on my second son. He had his second grandson, so we were so excited about that.
We're so excited to welcome him to the family, and one of the biggest changes that we've made this year is embracing a full carnivore lifestyle. And what does that actually mean? Well, that just means no vegetables, no grains, no pastas, no rices, just nutrient-dense animal-based foods. So we're really excited to share what we're doing and how Frank has reclaimed his health and how I am also healing as well. So Frank is down 65 pounds, and we're excited to share how he did that.
So what does that mean? Are we done gardening?
No, never. We're just reshifting our focus. We're going to be doing some animal planting for our animals and lots of flowers and different things. So while we might not be eating vegetables right now, we definitely see that there will be a need for them in the future. But at this point in our lives, we're choosing to stick to an animal-based diet, and that just is going to look a little different. That's all.
So to be honest with you, when you think about homesteading, you really want to just think about where is your food coming from. The reason why we start a homesteading situation for our families is because we kind of all really know where the food is coming from. We kind of all really know that it's chemicals and steroids and issues that we just don't want to be putting in our bodies and our family bodies. So we are now working on building connections in our local area, our local farmers. We're trying to get more involved with our community to find out what exactly is available to us as homesteaders, not just vegetable eaters, but all of it. We want to know the meats, we want to know the grains, we want to know the milks.
We just want to know where our food is coming from.
Exactly.
That's kind of what we're looking forward to sharing with you this season, and that's the exciting part about this journey that we've been on, is just sourcing our food and understanding how our property will serve us differently. It's not only about growing the vegetables, it's just about growing our future and our health.
So we went to a conference, and it was unlike anything I've ever been to. I've always been to RV shows and local home shows in my area.
But he was humoring me, and he decided that he would come chaperone me.
Yeah.
He had no real interest in attending the conference, but...
And it was called Hack Your Health, and it was more of a keto designed conference, but I think it was more in tune with carnivore style living versus keto style living. But they are very similar. I mean, there's not really a lot of differences between the two. One, the keto style is more, you can still eat a little bit of fruit and veggie and that kind of stuff.
Both are basically a low carb lifestyle, so...
But the carnivore is elimination of all carbs, of all sugars, no vegetables, no fruits, no...
It's pretty radical.
Anything, one bite at a time since June 1st of 2024. We are now in early March of 2025, and I can honestly say, since I've started doing this, it has totally changed my life. My body is better, my mind is clearer, I am more focused on family and faith than I ever have been. It's really made a huge difference, the impact for anybody that I speak to about it.
What would you say was your defining moment when you had that aha moment that something had to change when you were there?
Yeah, I went to we had what they call a DEXA scan. DEXA scan, and the DEXA scan was, I mean, I was running like 260, and I didn't really feel like I was 260. I always, you know, I mean, I looked at myself, I knew I was heavier, but I've always been like that my whole life. All of my adult life, I've always been 40 or 50 pounds heavier than I should be. But then, you know, you look around, and that's the norm. The norm is not the six-pack or the fit. The norm is the
dad bod.
The dad bod. That's what the norm is. And so I fell into the norm, and so I was comfortable with that. I mean, I had set my mind to be okay with that for the rest of my life. But you can't live your life when you get past 50. You can do that in your 30s and your 40s because you've got all sorts of energy. I mean, you can stay up all hours of the night. You can work 16 hours a day. You can do what you want to do because you've got the energy, and the recuperation is so much easier in your 30s and 40s. But get to my age at 55, and that's when stuff changes. That's when you lose your motivation and your energy. That's when the brain fog thickens, and you no longer can get out of bed with the spring in your step. Your breathing is not well. Your chest pain is more often, and there's just too many things that go wrong. So I realized when I had that DEXA scan.
And a DEXA scan, just for those of you that don't know, it's basically like a body composition, like at a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of showing you what your lean mass tissue is and what your visceral fat and all of the kind of things that your body, your skeletal system, your endocrine system, everything.
The most important thing for me was the visceral fat. That was the fat that was inside. That was the fat that I knew was more of an issue than the stuff I could actually see. Because the visceral fat is the stuff.
The hard tummy.
It's building up around your lungs. It's building up around your heart. It's building up in your around your intestines, and it's squeezing. And if you don't think that you have visceral fat, go have your meal, have your cup of coffee, and then go and sprint 100 yards and see how you feel after that 100-yard sprint. And if you sprint that 100 yards and you're keeling over in pain and your chest is hurting and you can feel your arms are aching, that means that you're full of visceral fat. And I was there.
One of the other things too, like Frank used the DEXA scan for himself as his motivation. I've been on this journey exploring this probably for the better part of 30 years. I've been a chronic dieter. I've been on any diet that's been going, and of course you kind of feel like maybe this is just another trend, and that's, you don't give it the benefit of the doubt and just recognize that maybe I'll just fail at this as well, because
and then like you say that, and then I think to myself, the reason why this, exactly what you just said, you've done well, and when you think about what all the other diets were that everybody in the world has done,
and I've done everything,
it's always been restriction.
Yeah.
Restrict your caloric intake. And I can be honest with you and say that I do not count a single calorie in my day, ever. I have not counted a calorie since
I think that's
June
what's
1st.
worked for you, is that you don't have to count calories, you
Yes.
don't have to count macros.
And you get to eat. You're not
Yeah.
ever hungry.
He's just eating animal foods that he's eating till he feels full, and then that's it. But for a woman, it's a little different. I believe my experience and my journey on this lifestyle has been a little different. And this is kind of where this season is going to go, and we're going to show you in exactly how we have adopted this new lifestyle. And we don't believe that this is just a short-term diet. Frank has lost 65 pounds, but I do believe that that itself is just a byproduct of the other health benefits that he has experienced. So he has lived a lifetime of psoriatic arthritis and psoriasis, non-fatty liver disease, just a slew of autoimmune issues. He was eating like, oh my gosh, Frank, you were eating like a bottle of Tums every
50 to 100 Tums a week.
a week. Like, oh my gosh, that in itself is just like 1 foot in the grave. It's just terrible. Just indigestion.
Ask me how many I've had since June 1st of last year.
Right? It's crazy how good he feels. And snoring. Oh my
Gout.
gosh, the gout,
Oh.
bursitis. What else did you have that you haven't had? Any, like the gout, the bursitis. Those were two huge issues. The uric acid that he would always get, and he would
You
get
just-
that at least 2 or 3 times a year.
And you get so used to the pain. You just
And I
get
think
so
that's,
used
I
to
was just going to
feeling
say,
crummy.
that's the issue, is you start to feel so crummy that you normalize feeling that way.
Yeah.
So until you start to feel this way, and this is what he's feeling, so he will be almost 1 full year on Carnivore come
June 1st.
June 1st, and he will definitely, like, that's the thing, once you start to introduce maybe some of those older behaviors and some of those older treats that you would have, you know, it's not a chance, because you know now what it's like to feel
I've
good.
only got 20 years left to live a decent life. And there's no way I'm putting a chocolate chip cookie or a muffin in my mouth to destroy the
and
last
some
20
people
years.
would just say, like, just eat the cake and enjoy your life, and
No.
and we've lived by that narrative for a lot of our life, and we just want to, because there's so much celebratory things happening around food, and food is just one of those things that is just a universal love language for everybody. And
What did I
that
have on Christmas morning or Christmas Day for Christmas dinner? Everybody else is having turkey. What did I have?
you did have a steak
I had a
right
steak.
before everybody got there, kind of thing. So it's one of those things where you still engage in the camaraderie of the social, but you just know how bad that food made you feel. And it isn't a conventional lifestyle for everybody, and it's not something that everybody can do. But I think that if you're suffering from so many autoimmune issues and you're feeling so terrible, it makes you want to make change. And for me, my issue has not necessarily been that, because I never suffered from the things that Frank suffered from. Mine was always image. And so I had started after my first baby, who will be 30 next month, if you can believe it. This month, oh
This
my gosh. So when I had my very first baby, I started...
I know I don't look a day over 45.
I started subscribing to the narrative of the diet culture, and unfortunately it created a massive, like Frank said earlier, the restricting and the binging, and this has created a disordered eating that unfortunately it took its toll on my body, and my body just did not trust me anymore. There was so much feast and famine, there was so much restricting, and then because I was restrict for so long, of course I'm going to lose weight. You know, when I'm eating less than 800 and 900 calories a day, it would work.
Yeah.
But then of course you restrict yourself so much that then the binge begins, and unfortunately that's just the lifestyle that I've subscribed to, and I hid it from my entire family for a very long time, and I could be like this, I don't know why it's not working.
You thought you were hiding it.
I thought I was hiding it, but it was, you know, like I've always said this quote, and it's true, and I have it all everywhere. What you eat in private, you wear in public, and it's one of those things.
You wear it on your sleeve, man. Everybody can see
Everybody
it. knows,
knows, and it's like you think that you're doing that, but the thing is you don't understand how damaging it is to your mental. So for me, the clarity of what I've experienced, I haven't been able to break free from the food addiction yet. I do know that I have this disordered eating, and so I'm really trying to heal that part of my brain. And what I'm noticing by doing this, anytime that I'm feeling a craving coming on, I've made these little brown butter bites that are just simply made up of brown butter, salted brown butter, and it's just the fat, because I've restricted fat. I subscribe to that narrative of low fat, low carb, or low sugar, and all of that kind of lifestyle for so long. But we don't realize how important the fat is for our hormones, and I believe that that's also too what I'm healing. So while I might not be seeing the weight and the scale moving so much, I'm celebrating a lot of non-scale victories right now. Until at that point I can start to move past that, I'm certain that the scale will start to show some results too. But in the meantime, I'm feeling extremely good. That the chatter and the demons and the conversations that are in my head, the saboteur is trying to tell me to eat the cake and enjoy life because life is too short. I just decided that that's not a narrative that I want to subscribe to anymore. So we're really looking forward to this new lifestyle. We're really looking forward to sharing, some of the things that are exciting around our homestead. What's Frank working on right now? Come on.
Maple syrup?
Maple syrup season. We are so gearing up for a heavy season. We're gearing up for sharing some of that fun with you. But also just kind of getting out into the community and getting to know some of our local farmers and where our food is sourced from. We are fortunate enough that we have connections in our community, and we like to share that with you guys. So anyways, guys, we're so excited to be back, and we're looking forward to sharing this journey with you all. So until next time, stay safe.
Keep living.
Keep living.
There's something almost poetic about the way winter forces us to pause. The worst snowstorm in years buried the land beneath drifts so high they swallowed fences and silenced the world. We had no choice but to stay put, wrapped in the glow of the fire, listening to the wind howl, while the kids built forts with blankets and snow alike. Outside, the garden lay in deep slumber, its frozen soil untouched, its quiet dormancy a reflection of the season's demand for rest. And so I too yielded, because when the garden rests, so does the gardener.